Hello, this is Gwen, and today is Thursday, September the 21st, 2017, and the time is about 1:22 p.m. I'm working on a series of short stories, and I need your help. What I want to do is make them into cartoons, animations, like I saw some software by Adventurous Minds, and I want them in that style. I don't want them in the anime style. I like the I like something more black focused style because I think although I love anime and their storylines and their adventurism, I don't really like the way their cartoons look because with the big old eye thing and all of that, and plus some of the other little stupid stuff. Plus, we need, since we are such big animation fans, we have every opportunity to start our own focused line of animation with a different name and a different style. I almost want to call it blackimation or melanation or something like that. But it'll be a style I can't even imagine, and it'll be a name I can't imagine. So think about working on finding a way to tell our stories, the stories we want to show in our own way, with our own method, with our own stuff. A lot of black people have those skills right there in front of us. We can sit there and invent our own animation activity, our method. And it's right there. We got the tools for it. I can't do it because I don't know that much about computer animation, but I've seen black people that have excellent skills in computer animation. And so this is a task for our storytellers to tell the stories and make up the stories, right? And then our computer animation artists to present the stories. And voice actors, anybody, I'm not going to say anybody, but many, a lot of people are have the skill to be a voice actor. So let's look at that and do that. I've got some stories that I need to get animated. So that's why I'm saying I need your help because I'm working on a series of stories. I'm not going to tell you the name of the overall series of stories, but because this is the wrong place to say it at, but I will give I'm gonna tell you two stories here, and I'm gonna give a vignette, short vignettes of what they are, and I'm going to give you two of the chapter names. One is called Enemy Action and one is called Friendly Actions. What these stories are about is, and I'm screening, trying to screen not to get revealed too much, is about our war against evil. Black people's war against evil. And it's on all levels, from a cosmic level to a physical level. And the players in it are divine beings as well as people, and how these divine beings help influence the war or help fight the war. And it's a war. I do believe it actually is a war between good and evil, and or the a war between the forces of destruction and the forces of creation. And anyway, I wanted to play out and be told um, from a oracle's perspective, so to speak. So I'm going to give you one of the stories. This is under the chapter Enemy Action. And this one is called Demon Vacation. And this kind of drafted out because I'm not a real writer, right? So I need a writer to help fill in the similes and the foreshadowings and the descriptions and all of that stuff, and in the conversations. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you a quick one. This one is under Enemy Action, and it's Demon Vacation. That's the name of it. Anyway, what it is that the demons are in hell, and they're doing their in hell thing, right? But one particular demon is bragging about how he's going on vacation, and he's going to have his vacation and it's coming up soon, and he's done all his backstabbing and climbing up the corporate ladder and doing all the his administration stuff, and it's coming up on the days when he's finally got his promotion and he's going to have his first vacation part. Now, So he's finally getting there, and he's standing there with this little demon body. He's got horns and tail and all of that, right? And he's standing in front of the portal to go on vacation. And it's also a promotion because he's getting a really sought after assignment on this new place. And he's in line, and the other ones going to their new task, and things are in line, and they're waiting their turn, and it looks much like a airport. What's that thing that you go in to get the security check when you go get beeped in? But anyway, it's a portal, and he's finally got it. He's ready. And so what it is that you show them jumping through the portal. I mean, he starts off as a demon, but he jumps into the portal, and he morphs into a person with a briefcase and a suit, and he jumps right into a role as somebody who's writing legislation to pollute the land and make bombs and science. He might be a scientist. He's going to some kind of role that's going to influence the direction of the earth in a negative way. And they seek these assignments, and they know each other, but they're really demons who are joining this role, and they all are on earth, and they are in this sought after place. This is a vacation hub for demons, and they got on their little sunscreen and sunglasses, and they're having a good time on the planet creating havoc. Okay, that's the draft. Now, I'm still debating between whether I should call it demon promotion, like you got a promotion, or demon career ladder, or demon vacation. I'm still vacillating on the name of the story, but it's got to be fluffed out because I'm not a real writer. I can't write. I can think of stuff, but I can't write it. So that's demon whatever. And the other one, I'll give you another one under enemy action. And this one is called What Do You Mean She Disappeared? Or is called They Took Our Boy, or They Killed Our Boy. Okay, this one is about a white couple who adopted a black child. The black child is about 10 years old, and he got killed by a white police officer. What the white police officer didn't know was that these people were psychotic and were torturing the little boy, and they had plans for him when he got about 13 or 12. They were doing various things to torture him, and they did emotional blackmail to keep him from telling social services. And so, let me let me pause a second. Okay, so they let's see how do okay, let me rewind back. Yeah, okay, so they are psychotic people, right? And they had done this before. They just changed identities and adopt a child about 4 or 5 years old and raise them till they get about 12 or 13, a black male child, and raise them till they get about 12 or 13, and then proceed with even more demonic actions on them. They rape the child and abuse the child and finally kill the child when the child get twisted enough to look like he's enjoying the sexual actions that they do to him and the other means of rape and debauchery. When he gets, when he looks like he's having his first orgasm at either a raping having sex with the male or the female parent. They don't really want him to be happy. They just want to torture him, and then if you pollute it enough and to get happy, then they don't have a use for you. So they were planning on doing that to this child too. But he got shot by a police officer, a white police officer. During the trial and stuff like that, these two parents were really nice and forgiving and stuff like that, but what nobody knew was how psychotic they were. And they did the I forgive you thing to the court system as the officer got acquitted, and then they went home because the officer was acquitted. They were glad the officer, I think acquitted means let go, right? They were glad the officer was acquitted because now they can get to him. So the first thing they did was find his family. They already knew where his family was because they both had military and mercenary experience at locating people and all that stuff. They had covert ops experience, so they already knew where they were. They already knew everything about where his family was hidden. So the first thing they did was find his son and torture him until he died. And they killed him. And then they were going to get the daughter, but the daughter got away. And they finally, I'm debating on whether, yeah, they finally got a chance and they figured they killed the officer. And then by then, the court systems and the detective systems figured out that these people were targeted. So they put the judge in protective custody and they decided to yeah, when they put the judge in protective custody, they had a shootout with this couple, and the father, the male, got killed, but the female was captured. So a year or two went by. No, sorry, the female got captured, and she was getting ready to get sentenced or transported, and the judge received a phone call, and the phone call was about her escaping, and the reason why there's and he said, what do you mean she disappeared? That's the end of the story right there, but it's got a whole lot of stuff between there, between the beginning and the end, and I need somebody to help me fluff it out. But anyway, it ends with, what did you mean she disappeared? And so the epilogue is this: the judge's wife is walking in the parking lot, and heard footsteps behind her, and she looked back and saw a friendly female face, and she said, she says, I don't know why they always telling me that I'm, to herself, she said, I don't know why they always tell me that it's not safe. There's a lot of people here. There's another woman, she's right there, and she looked back and smiled at the friendly female face, and she says, I'm always safe. But she only got to the SA and then a line because, well, SAD, she never even finished the thought. Okay, that's the other one on enemy action. I've got some other ones. I got one called "And They Screamed" and "Escape from Heaven." Escape from Heaven is not gonna be happy for the Christians. Okay, and I need somebody to help me fluff this one out. Escape from Heaven it starts with a big old school bus full of choir members that crashed and died. They wound up at the gates of heaven. As they're walking through orientation, they're noticing that God's chosen people, the ones with the brightest halos, are white. They do see the streets paved with gold. They do see the silver, but they see people like them sweeping the streets. The people like them are sweeping the streets and polishing the all of the ornaments and stuff like that. They get leered at by the chosen people, and you can tell the chosen people, they got the better clothes, brighter halos and things. And so they got to the choir part, and they got sent to be on the steps with the rest of the choir that sings, and that's their job. They sing all day the praises of the divine being that they worship, and they're told to always have faith. You've got to have faith, faith this, faith that. And then at some point, the divine being got hungry, and he grabbed one of them and split him open and watched a bright, beautiful light come out of him, and he consumed it, breath on, and absorbed it, and then shoved the husk aside. The husk was still alive and still having just a shriveled up husk. But meanwhile, one of the people, was losing faith. So so I'm gonna put a pin right there. As they came in the gate, when they first came in, the first question that was asked at the gate is, "Do you have faith?" And everybody said yes. And each one of them had a beautiful bright light of a beautiful golden light, and except for one or two who had a green light and a blue light radiating off of them, and they got pointed out by the person manning the gate saying, "You don't have faith. I can see you don't have faith," because blue lights and green lights, anything but golden light, was faith. I mean, was not faith. So they didn't have the faith light, so they weren't let in. Only the faithful could come in heaven. And so it fed on their faith, but I'm getting ahead of the story. So they weren't let in, and they, much to their dismay, and that only made the faithful people more self-righteous and all. The preacher was one of the ones that didn't have faith, and the and one of the other parishioners didn't have faith. They would just, like some people in the church go through the motions. They don't really believe, but they just go through the motions. So we're over there, and not we, but the faithful were over there in the choir singing. And every once in a while, one of the people get yanked off the thing to feed somebody. But the chosen people were the angels that and the others that looked white and dressed real nice and all. And one of the people that were in the choir looking around and seeing that, wondering why, you know, there weren't more angels that looked like her because she's a black female. Now, the divine being waved his hand, and the choir people became younger and more beautiful and looked at their prime. Their, like the 80-year-old lady, she became about 24 looking. The older men, they became about 24 looking. They were at their peak of beauty and virility. With the wave of a hand, they were dressed in the silks and all those things that's described that heaven would be. All the things that they said heaven was, as their faith described it, was exactly like that. They had street paved with gold. You got the bright lights, you got the this and all of that stuff. So at some point, the being waved his hand and let the chosen people at him. The chosen people grabbed him and did all kind of debauched things to him, tortured him, raped him, pillaged him, and all of that stuff. And as that was happening, because they were just yanking them down and having their way with them as they would, torturing them, killing them, and doing all kind of stuff and feeding on them. And as it was happening, one of the members was losing faith, and she lost faith and got pointed out, and she got cast out because she didn't believe that that should have been happening, but it was explained to her as them being the chosen people, it was their prerogative to do as they will, because the divine being said it was okay, and thus it was okay and it was appropriate, and they should be obedient and keep their faith. And so they were submitting to this torture and this abuse because of faith, and they kept their faith because that was what they were ordered to do, and they did, except for the one that lost faith and got cast out. And as she was cast out, she was in darkness, and she wondered where she was. And when she looked around, she saw a lot of people, a lot of other beings around her, and she says, and she said, "What happened?" And they said, "You lost your faith, so you've escaped from heaven." And she says, "But we got to go back and get the rest of them." And he said, and then the answer was, "We tried, but they fight us on it. We can't go back. They would fight us." What? She didn't understand why somebody would fight to stay there, and they said, "We can't get them out. We tried before. They won't come out. They won't leave because they have faith and they believe they're supposed to be there." And all she could do was stand there with the mouth open. Okay, so that's escape from heaven. That needs to be animated and fleshed out too. So that's three stories. I would tell you what happened on And They Scream. That would, but I'm not. And I got some more, but I ain't gonna tell you those either. I just need somebody to reach out to me that can write and some animated people because I don't want to own this stuff. I want to be partners because I'm not gonna pay anybody, but you I will get the money that you know, whatever money we can make off of it, if we make money. It's got to be a labor of love, and it'll be a partnership for somebody who can write and do cartoons and do animation. I would like for some of my favorite YouTubers to be the voice characters, and I would like to base characters. I like to base characters on them, cause that'll be fun. And I ain't gonna say any more about that either. Okay, bye bye, and thanks for listening to me. Reach out. I don't know when you will, or even if you're around me, but I think we can do this if we're all partners and just do it as a labor of love. Or I can finish my little stories and try to do it myself. Whatever. We'll see. Okay, bye bye. And thanks for listening to me.